Greetings. My name is Stephen Chesnut. I'm running for Judge of Civil District Court for the Parish of Orleans. The position is Division J. It's number 2 on the ballot.
Wonderful. Mr. Chesnut, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. You're now talking to the NewOrleansBlack.com audience and NewOrleansFirst.com. We've got about 60,000 audience members that are watching this, and their primary interest is in learning each of the candidates. So consider this just a conversation.
Sure.
All right, so along the lines of a conversation, I know your name, Mr. Chesnut, but tell me a little about who you are. Let's go back to the childhood. Let's start there and walk us through who Mr. Stephen Chesnut is.
I was born and raised in New Orleans.
Okay.
And whenever anyone asks, where'd you go to school, the immediate response is, where'd you go to high school? So I went to Jesuit High School, where I graduated summa cum laude in 1979.
Okay.
From there, I went to the Tulane School of Business, before it became AB School of Business.
Yeah,
We were all just SOBs at that time. I graduated in December of '88 there in management and with a minor in international relations.
Okay.
From there I went to Loyola School of Law, where
You went right into school?
No, I took a couple of years off because I was practicing real estate at the time, and I was actually working my way through college.
Oh, okay.
So I obtained my real estate broker's license in January of '85, and shortly thereafter I entered Loyola School of Law because the industry wasn't doing so hot back then.
Mm-hmm.
There were high rates of interest, and things weren't moving. But from there, I continued to work my way through law school.
Okay.
And I was a member of the Phi Delta Phi legal fraternity, and I was president of the International Legal Society.
Okay.
So I continued my international interests and pursuits.
Right. Have you moved and done any international projects?
No, but I love meeting people from different nations, different cultures. I mean, it's just fascinating what we can learn.
Well, let's talk about that. One of the things that our audience is very interested in is clearly diversity, and people who understand it. When you think of diversity, what do you think about?
Well, in New Orleans, I think of that wonderful gumbo that's seasoned to perfection.
Yeah.
That you need all the right ingredients.
Right.
And from where I am, it's like it's a very diverse neighborhood. I practice law in the Faubourg Marigny,
Okay.
and people are from all different walks of life. We have black and white and gay and straight,
Yep.
male and female, old and young. It runs the gamut, and it's sort of a microcosm of how everyone can get along.
Right, I think so too. Let's talk a little bit about you as a judge. Okay, it's important that not only do you understand diversity, which you clearly do, but you as a judge, talk about fairness and equity in the decisions that you make and also in the people that you hire, and just kind of give us a little bit of understanding on your ability to be fair.
Well, that's the primary reason I entered into this race, because the entire hallmark of my campaign is to be fair and equal to everybody.
Good.
I'm an honest person, and when anyone comes before me, whether they're an attorney or whether they're a private individual litigating their own case, they'll be treated fairly. It should not matter, what amount of money they have or what amount of influence they have. It should matter what are the facts of the case, what law applies, and then to reach a fair and just decision.
Okay.
I think politics should not enter into that.
Oh, good point. One of the things that our community struggles with is being ill-informed. Okay, we feel like we don't know what's going on all the time. What will you do to ensure, as a judge in our area, that people are informed about not just what you're doing, but things that the city is doing around your court?
Well, I don't believe that any of the courts has its own website, so that's like, kind of maybe something for the future to think about. But I will have an open door, all-inclusive type courtroom. Anybody is welcome to call, and if they have a specific program that could speed things along or make things easier, then fine.
Okay.
I mean, we will consider that. If it's feasible to work it into our system, then fine. There are numerous, programs for dealing with child abuse and child neglect and things like that are part of the domestic relations docket that will come before me. And I will make available resources to the litigants, places where they can go for counseling and to get what they need.
Well, you're talking about something I definitely want to ask about, and that is, what programs or initiatives do you have kind of that you're anxious to implement? Are there anything out there that you would like to bring to the table as judge of Section J?
Well, there are only two things that I feel I could implement at this time, and one would be mediation for these intractable disputes between husband and wife over what you and I might consider something minor, but which to them could be something maybe very major,
Right.
like photographs or a collection of coins or something like that, which I did have a case during that. But if they can sit down with the court-appointed mediator, either of their own choosing or of the court's mandate, to reach a decision and then to present it to the court, then that would speed things along. The second thing would be, like mediation, a status conference hearing, when two parties just seem that they're at total opposites. Instead of filing motion after motion for contempt, pointing fingers and reaching a histrionic level, they can ask the court for a status conference. We can sit down like adults and discuss a solution and reach a feasible solution. Or if there are deadlines that have to be met, we can enforce those.
That's good. That's very good. All right, we're going to our Facebook friends now. This is the last question of the evening.
Okay.
This comes from Rashad Baptiste. What do you plan on doing to bring back all the law schools, playgrounds, teenage activities, and keep them off the streets? Bottom line is, this question is asking about what would you like to see implemented that helps kids stay off the streets? Is there any programs or any initiatives, either as a judge or just as a citizen of this community, that you would like to see implemented?
There are a lot of activities and a lot of programs out there, and I am not going to favor one over another by mentioning it, because I feel they're all good and they're all competing on their own merits. What I would do is to fast track some disputes regarding property rights, because part of my background is historic preservation, and I don't feel that just because something is old you should throw it away, bring in the bulldozers, and erect a brand new structure.
Okay.
One prime example is Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard.
Right.
And all the area around the Ashe Center, Cafe Reconcile, where you have a conversion of old buildings and boom in economic development that's going on there, that can mix the best of the old and also have the best of the future involved in there. I have always been a person that believes in a balancing act.
Okay.
The scales of justice are balancing, so you can balance preservation with economic development and reach a very workable solution.
All right, well, good stuff. Well, look, this has been a pleasure, Mr. Chesnut, to interview with you. In 30 seconds or less, if you would please remind our audience of who you are and why they should vote with you and your number.
I am Stephen Chesnut. This is my first run for political office, so I don't owe favors to anybody. What I would like to bring is fairness, equality, and equity to the court. And I would also like to wish my viewers happy holidays and all the best for 2010. It's going to be a great year. I am number 2 on the ballot, Stephen Chesnut, Judge, Civil District Court for the Parish of Orleans. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.